is part 2 of our tribute interview with Eric Jerome Dickey. This interview was done about 10 years ago, and he passed away in 2021. And so out of the depths of who he was and our respect for him and his value to our community, we bring this interview back to you. We also encourage you to go back and watch part 1, which will be intriguing and which will tell how he became the writer he is. This one talks about his process and some of his characters. So listen and enjoy. Brother Dickey, we loved you. Rest in peace. To his relatives, God bless, and we continue to lift you up in prayer. Take care. Watch this, y'all. Dr. Hutchinson, this is a great day. We have with us the great renowned author, Eric Jerome Dickey, homeboy from Memphis, here on the first black-owned television station in Memphis. And guess what? We're 7 months old today. Isn't that y'all can put your hands together. As you can see, we have a studio full of people. They're here to see this great event. Now, my only thing is, are y'all going to treat me like this tomorrow? That's a whole nother conversation. You can tell this is unscripted TV. But let's get back in our conversation. Here's what I want to ask you, because you said a lot, and basically it was flowing so well, I just sat and I took it all in. But now, want to kind of ask you, you talked about your background, you talked about the search for family, and if you're a fan like me, you look at your characters bring a lot to the table. You know, you have Gideon, you have Nia Simone Bijou, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. Talk about the synergy between how, your life experiences help you to shape your characters, and where did the development of your characters come from?
Just initially starting out, I think we always write what we would like to read. And see Terry McMillan, B.B. Moore Campbell, Tina McElroy, Ansa, and others definitely kicked open the door, paved the way, gave a lot of us inspiration in the sense that, we hadn't read novels that had contemporary African-American characters in them, just basically in stories that were relatable in a sense that this is what we're doing today. Yes, stories there about us being black in America specifically, because that's always present, but living that post-college, middle-class existence, still trying to get it together regardless of the genre. And so for me, that was very relatable. Post-college, which is probably like the first novel I started to write, was like Breakfast Club with black people, which would have been, right. So I wanted like, the engineer, the engineer who becomes the comic, the flight attendant, the nurse. I mean, you know what I mean? People who were, again, came from places like Kansas Street, even if it was on the West Coast or on the East Coast, but had worked their way up to that middle class dream here in the States. And now, and even when you do that, relationships don't go smoothly.
That's right.
Because the characters I write about, it's like Shelby. Or Deborah, I mean, you put that list on the refrigerator of what you want your life to be, or including the type of mate that you want to have. But, as they say, man makes plans and God laughs. Things just don't work out that way. So I show them trying to get to that destination, and just things happening along the way, be it bankruptcies, or you didn't plan to have a child this soon, or you didn't plan to fall in love and get married. You know what I mean? So in things, just trying to put that, what I could relate to, and at the same time, developing characters to fit into the story, the idea I had for a story. When I'm developing a character, say like cheaters, I have 3 guys. So as a writer, I sit down, each has to have his own personality. The 3 women in there, each woman has to have her own personality. And again, that's that going back to UCLA, taking classes so that you have the skills to sit down, and you're not writing about three people. They all sound the same. They all, even if I do three sisters, you can go into a household. Yeah, they all are from the same mother and father, but they're three different people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I have to give you three different people, and hopefully, from novel to novel. So you get a character so like Tyrell or Stefan, but then later on I give you a character like Gideon, who's not like any other character.
He isn't.
He isn't. But see, and the same thing with Gideon. I have to sit down, give him a biography. Okay, where's this guy come from? Who is his mom? Who is his dad? And I think I do it with every character that I write. It goes back to who's the mom and who's the dad. And then when the mom and dad come onto the page, even with the mom and dad, I say, who is your mom and who is your dad? You know what I mean? So it gives me this layers of things that I create so I can just understand this character here, how he or she got to this point, and why he or she made this decision. See, like in Cheaters, Stefan admired his dad even though his dad wasn't there. Even though his dad basically, in the opening chapter, shows up still married to his mom with another woman in a car, not financially supporting the family, but still coming by to see his little boy. And then giving him these words of wisdom that are just basically say, this is how you treat women. And so Stefan, even though he knows in his heart it's not right, he admired his dad. So he's found himself in this thing. It's like he has a bunch of women. And he's found himself in a lifestyle it takes a life of his own. He doesn't know how to get out of it, if that makes sense. So when I'm writing it, you know what I mean?
Makes a lot of
sense. Yeah, I mean, because, we teach each other what's acceptable. And part of the thing in Cheaters, I think they brought it up. So if a guy brings home a lot of girls, mom thinks that my son's a man, but the daughter cannot bring home a bunch of guys. So that's telling you something right off the bat. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Well, put a pin right there.
Okay.
Don't go any further because we are leading us into where we're going.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
What I appreciate about the characters you shape, they're multi-level, multi-dimensional, and you get the depth of them. So that is why you can have a series of books focused around a character like Gideon, like Nia. And you can bring them back. You can put them on hiatus. Of course, I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm waiting to see Gideon again. So I just want to let you know. But I appreciate that. But that leads me to this. All right? Decadence.
Right.
I've already read probably about 5 or 6 chapters of this book.
Okay.
And also, as we talk about multi-dimensional and multi-generational, etc., you did something unique for this book that wasn't done before. There is a prequel book that you can only get as an e-book called The Education of Nina Simone Bigelow, which ties into Decadence, not Decadence, Pleasure, which was the previous book on her, and then the prequel takes you back even before that, and then you come to this book. So I'm going to yield, open this all up, and just talk to us about it.
Well, it was like I had done Pleasure 4 years ago, and even then creating a character, Nia Simone Bigelow, who's unconventional. I mean, so far as in novels, because usually in novels it's all about the woman and the guy. But Nia she's having adventures. She's had a heartbreak, and after heartbreak, she doesn't want to be that close to anyone again. She doesn't. It's just it's like when you have these traumatic experiences, it just totally changes the way you see the world. So basically, it's almost like Nia has post-traumatic stress syndrome from a relationship from when she was in college, and I show you her response to that, but at the same time she's a woman, she feels, she has needs, and how she chooses to approach and handle that. And also, even though she has done things before, she's still naive. A lot of things are new to her, so it's sort of like she's financially independent. She's not married. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't have children. So her thing is, so why can't I do the things that men do without getting a label? And her thing is, she rejects the label. So she said, until I have to accept those other responsibilities, which she, in her mind, I will one day, and when it's time, I will change to meet those responsibilities. But now, I can live my life this way. I'm not causing harm to anyone. I'm up front. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. I just ask you to be the same. That's all she asks. And a character like is really difficult because you don't really. I haven't read about a woman of color character like that.
I haven't either.
I mean, one that isn't. Because even. It's almost like they will write it like this, like even the woman who's independent at some point, but she has to have a man. She has to, but Nia isn't like that. I mean, she isn't like that. She appreciates company of the opposite sex. She loves to have fun, but at the end of the day, you're an accessory.
And let me add this pin, put this pin there too.
Okay.
Not only that, but you know, you have a lot of urban fiction now,
Right.
that has women that seem to be similar, but they're not quite similar because they have an agenda. They have an agenda beyond just, you know, being involved.
So basically, they're doing a scam.
Exactly.
So right, and Nia's not doing a scam.
She's not doing a scam.
No,
That's right.
No, so if Nia says she wants your company, she just wants your company.
That's right.
She doesn't want your company because.
That's right.
That's just it. This is the end of it. And I think what is the men who come into Nia's life, she's like a breath of fresh air for them, and they don't really know what to do with her, but they know that I am just so attracted to you, and it's almost like I'm not. She's like, I don't want to be like the other girls. I'm not like the other girls, but I know that you want to take me as different as I am, and at the end of the day, you want to mold me and make me like the other girls, to be like them. So at the end of the day, if you change me and to be like the other girls, all you're going to wish is that you had another woman who's like I am now.
That's right.
So just take me as I am now. This is, you know what I mean?
And the power in what you do is, it's almost like the show Scandal, so to speak.
All right.
In that the show has an attraction because it deals with the multifaceted gray areas that everybody has.
Yeah.
And so whatever your gray area might be, you may find a connection in some way with the characters that you write. So people can live, so we say, vicariously through the character.
And I do get a lot. I've received so much email, even before Decadence, with pleasure. Women would come to the book signings, and they would hold the book like with the Bible. I kid you not. And they would say, "This is me." But I don't really know exactly what that means, but they said, I am Nia, this is me. I don't know what that means. And I think it's just that person who wants to be upfront, who wants to live, not necessarily do what Nia has done, but that energy that Nia has. I think that's who they want to be. Because a lot of times people are in relationships and they walk on eggshells because I can't tell you the truth. I don't think I can tell you the truth because it's going to change things for the worse. Because basically we're not operating on a level where I can just tell you what I'm feeling here without you feeling like it's an assault or you feel damaged or you just gradually feel now the relationship is loosening, is coming apart because I was honest. And Nia is like, let me be honest and then let me see what we have. You know what I mean? Because if I don't give you the truth, I'm not going to live in a lie. That's what Nia is right now, because if I don't give you the truth, then I'm living in a lie. I'm pretending that I'm happy when I'm with you. And Nia is like, let me tell you the truth, this is who I am, now can we deal with this?
And even in the midst of that, she has her own tension, because I'm not giving it away because I haven't read all of the book, but even when you get toward the beginning and some of the persons that she's met, there's a tension with her heart in terms of, should I give my heart to this person? I have a connection with this person. I sense that it's beyond the sensual.
Oh, it is, because when Nia talks about a connection with someone, it's never through the loins. It's like Nia is like, we bond in the mind, we have intellectual conversations, we talk about religion, existentialism, we talk about movies, we talk about, and the thing at the end of the day is we talk, we communicate. It's not that. This is not you come by at 11 o'clock in the morning and you're gone before the sprinklers come on. We talk, we do things together. I mean, even with one guy we meet, we run, we have conversations, we dance, we have fun. I've met your kids. I know that you're a single dad, which is different for her, but you know what I mean? So for her, there's a depth, there's a connection. It's not. Her things aren't drive-through relationships. You know, but her issue is again from that heartbreak, which I talk about in the Education of Nia Simone Bigeaud, is that this thing happened, and I'm afraid, and this fear has pushed me in this direction. Because when you're afraid, you always try to go to where it feels safe, and for a lot of people is I'm alone, or for some people is I will hang out with a particular type of group, and this is where Nia right now feels comfortable, but at the same time, she's 4 years older than she was in pleasure, and things, and this is what we do in life is, you know, you're 16, you're 20, you're 21, I don't want kids, then you're 30, you know what, gosh, I'm getting older, you know, maybe you start entertaining, and then you're like sitting in McDonald's watching a dad walk in with his son or his daughter, and you start thinking like, wow, that looks so cool. You know what I mean? And you wonder what it would be like to walk in with your son or your daughter, or just walking through the park with your daughter up on your shoulders. And you know what I mean? I mean, this is guys. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's what you start. That's what you start to think. You know what I mean? And at some point, it's the stuff that you're afraid of. You have to realize there's never really been anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
It's just for whatever reason you may not have been ready. But, and my thing is always this, because I will always hear women say that guys are afraid. And I said, no, it's just not ready. You know what I mean? So, because what it is, you've got you want to do things in your time. And everybody can't do things in your time. Yeah. You know, it works, and it works beautifully when it's your time, it's my time, and we do it together. It's always when someone isn't ready, because I think what happens is, whenever someone does something they're not ready, in the back of their mind they were forced to do something, so resentment is always going to be there. I think. I mean, that could be true because, okay, I wasn't ready, this happened. I mean, it can be this thing, the one who, it's like, geez, I want to marry you, but I don't want to marry you in August. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know, it's like, you know, but, and you're like, well, I want to get married in August. You're like, well, I want to marry next year. And you're like, okay, so, because sometimes I think what happened with a guy or with people is like, I want things laid out financially. We need to talk about serious stuff. I don't want to just go do this because of things that, you know, because maybe you saw things. You've seen when you get older, you've seen your friends marry, divorce, remarry, and as a minister, you've counseled people who, you know, it's just a lot of stuff that we didn't talk about.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, yes, I mean, it's like, you know, so you spent all this time, but you've never had a serious conversation about stuff that's going to matter. You know, just the whole thing that things are going to work out. No, it's just, you know, things like this. It's like this. It can be something as simple as you're neat, the other person's not. You're a saver, somebody's a spender. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, because I mean, it can be like you married, and it's like, okay, but I can't see how I'm going to survive financially until my retirement with you, because you spend, open an envelope, okay, now there's another credit card I didn't know about, now we have another $10,000 debt that I didn't know about. Yeah, you look good, you're all suited up, you got another car, but we got debt. It's like mountains of debt. I mean, and I think what happened with a lot of people, it boils down to survival. I can't survive in this, so I have to get out and cut my losses. I gotta get out because again, if you're 30, if you're 35, you know, you're looking down the road like, I'm not gonna make it to 70. I'm not gonna make it to 70. I'm just not gonna make it because I can't even see get into next year.
And so really, when you read this, not only do you read the things that are on the surface, but you also read choices that are part of this.
Because Nia, And it doesn't really give anything away. That's part of her thing. She says, okay, my thing is like this, is if we get together, my whole thing is that I've worked hard. We've come from the slums of Trinidad. My family, we've worked up to Hollywood, we've achieved. My thing is just like this, don't make me have less.
That's right.
Don't make me have less. Now, I don't mind helping you or whatever, but at the end of the day, don't make me have less. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody wants to work hard. Well, here's the thing, I don't think anybody wants to work hard, come from a particular place, and then achieve, and then meet one person who shows up and destroys it all.
I agree. Well, we're going to have to leave it here. This is Eric Jerome Dickey, and this is indeed a Black Thought.
Put your mind in gear.
And put your thinking cap on. I hope this tribute segment blessed you, and if you want to see more like this, subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends, share it, press like, and we will thank you very much. See you soon. Come back now, y'all. You hear? Take care.